It's time to wake up, the show is about to start. With lots of stories about poo and a bit of heart. When it comes to Joanne, no, you won't find no faults. But if you mess with the bull, you might get the Schultz. It's time for Mornin. It's Morning with Bill and Joe. It's time for Mornin. It's gonna be a heck of a show. It's Bill and Joe.
Hello and welcome back to Mornin. Oh, it's a good day, Bill. You know why?
I know why, but I'm not going to say it because you have the news.
Yes, we got monetized on YouTube. Yay!
And even better than that, you explained it in a way that my dumbass actually understood. You could have been a teacher if you didn't hate kids.
Thank you. Wow, that's so sweet. To be fair, I don't completely know what it means because, bare minimum, when you become a YouTube creative partner, I guess is what they call it, they give you like checklists and videos and things to learn and examples. And there's like so many different examples you can click on, and that's like a lot of work. So, But here is what I know. You all have, which by the way, thank you. It's because of all of you who are watching, who've watched our other videos and gotten us here. You've been asking how you can contribute. Maybe you used to pay monthly with Compound Media and you'd like to put that money just toward us. You can now. I'll put up a little image on the screen. You can either join at the bare minimum, which is what the level is called. I believe it's $2.99 a month. And that's just, you get recognition for like being a member, which is kind of cool. I think you also get priority. I set the parameters and I even forget what I did. You get recognition if you comment on a video. That'll stand out and I'll reply. And then the next level, the more you Joe, $4.99 a month, you will get a shout out during the segment, The More You Joe. So stay tuned till the end of this video today because there are already 2 people who have joined who I will be shouting out.
I'm going to add to this already amazing offer. Joe, you claim to have written at least, 20 books? I think it would be lovely, and I know you have some back copies over there, of just sending fans who have donated signed copies of your many, many tombs. I mean, I know you author types, you always have a bunch, in the back that you give to friends, or if you're going to like one of your many, local stations to, just promote your book, you want to give some to the station and I know how it works with you. Just so you do that. Sure.
The thing is, though, our real fans will have already purchased every single one of my books. So why would they need an extra?
I've known you for 7 years. I have yet to find a site that sells them. So I'm thinking they're having a hard time looking for them.
Bill, it's not my fault that the mailman who's supposed to deliver the free books I keep sending you just loves them so much, he's taken them.
Well, if you read my book, Welcome to Woke America, you would know that we say mail person now. Screw you, you bigot. But I say that with an open heart. And no, again, so if it is the mailman's issue, perhaps you, FedEx or UPS or whatever you want to do. But I think that would be a great gift for our fans.
And if you actually read my book, Childhood Trauma-Rama, I got it from my mama, you would know that I do have a problem gendering jobs. Because I was always told I was way too pretty to have one.
I don't know how you have to blame your mom for that, but that just seems like a you thing. But all right, seems like we're at an impasse. I'm about to do a patented Joe seg. You know who else is at an impasse? I'm going to take that seg on my hand, kiss it, and blow it out into the ethos.
What is an impasse? It's not an overpass.
At a point in a relationship or 2 similar things where that they are no longer able to work together, agree, or move on.
Are you telling me you're leaving the show?
No, of course when we start monetizing.
I
knew
know.
this was going to happen.
I've got a master's in psychology. Look at my diploma on the wall. of stuff, girl. You crazy.
Yes, everyone. Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, Jenny from the block, however you'd like to call her.
Her love
She,
apparently doesn't cost a thing. Hmm?
or does
Hmm?
it?
Hmm?
She has just filed for divorce from Ben Affleck. I didn't see this coming.
I guess you haven't written many books on marriage. Otherwise, I would say I thought you were an
Yeah, no,
expert.
I haven't. I
Yeah.
haven't. Yeah. What's interesting though is the day she filed. And she filed. Most people have a lawyer do the filing. She filed pro per, meaning by herself and without an attorney, on the second anniversary of their big old wedding is when she filed. So there's definitely significance to that. She did so in LA County Superior Court. Sources with knowledge. Are there any other kind? Tell TMZ there is no prenuptial agreement.
Maybe she never had a lawyer. Maybe
Which
this is
is
her fourth marriage. I just want to
This
add
is
that.
her fourth. It's Ben's second. You would think that they would know, but this just goes to show you that they really thought this was forever.
I think they always do. Isn't that the whole
Maybe.
point of marriage?
But by not having a prenuptial agreement, this means whatever earnings or profit Ben and Jen made during these 2 years of marriage is community property. Since they tied the knot, Ben starred in Air and Hypnotic and produced The Instigators. J-Lo had Shotgun Wedding, The Mother, This Is Me Now, and Atlas. So they had a busy 2 years, apparently.
I don't know how successful, but busy.
So they've been trying to apparently hash out a settlement for months. Sources say those talks are continuing, but they're becoming acrimonious to the point at times where they're not even speaking to each other. We know that they had a house together, that they're trying to sell, they're getting their own homes. Bill, why is it that when very rich people get married, they decide to try to be normal? Like they are celebrities, they are very wealthy celebrities. Why are we combining assets? Why are we going on joint ventures together? Let's not. Let's have one person buy the home. Let's have one person buy the yacht. And then if you part ways, guess what? It's my house, it's my yacht. We're good.
You can lump this into the answer of a lot of other questions as to why when it comes to these two absolute morons. The other question I would ask is why would you get married? Period. You've had three of them. Why? And you've seen how it worked the first time around with Ben. Maybe try something different this time around. See if love doesn't not only cost a thing, but it doesn't need any type of certificate, paper. Hey, good for you from the government. A, it just makes things a lot easier. B, it makes the breakup a little less humiliating as far as the general public is concerned. And C, because you're doing something different, because you're not such a love addict and a non-thinking, non-forward thinking moron, maybe it actually will work. But these are all obvious, along with the prenup things, that these crazy in love people just aren't going to do. And I mean, God forbid you don't have the pomp and circumstance of the cool ass party that comes with a wedding, man. And all the paparazzi shots where are you hiding the ring or is it a super big ring? So clearly you're not. Hey, it is. Even Affleck probably loves part of it. Although apparently the big dividing line was that she was a lot more public about their love than he would prefer to be, with a big sticky point being that documentary, which now just makes them both look like morons.
Ugh.
About how gooeyly in love they were. A lot more from her end, I guess. Today I was watching a little extra, to prepare, and they were saying that J Lo had said some sort of statement along the lines that at this point, in them attempting to reconcile, she really just needs to focus on her right now. Heard that line before. That might have been the problem all along, Joe. Might have been too much of the focusing on her. That's the thing about marriage, Joe. And trust me, I think out of all the people you know, I am the expert on marriage.
Yes.
It's not just about you. Last I checked, it's a union bonded by both God and whatever president of the United States we have at the time.
Yeah.
You
Um,
know?
yeah, there was someone on TikTok who made a video saying that, the Biden presidency has lasted longer than their relation. Like, it's when it started, it was her and A-Rod, I think. Then she got married to Ben, and now they're getting divorced even before Biden is out of office. Like
That's amazing.
that
I
should
didn't know
be, it's a really good gauge of time, like if in a relationship, you should stick something out like the term of a president. You should.
I wonder, here's my question. Both Ben Bennifer and then Bennifer 2.0, I
Yeah.
wonder if you were to combine them, if Biden's presidency would still be longer. I guarantee you it was still less long than the Obama administration.
Honestly, it might be. That's something to
Yeah.
look into. I don't have the numbers on that, but
I don't
I'm
have
sure
them.
someone does.
I love my more and more, and I know you're rolling your eyes at this because I don't have brevity, but more and more, I just love like the classic one sentence text that I sometimes get from the friends and family that make me giggle rather than something with a setup or anything. And I got one from our buddy Samir Suri of
Oh,
Morning
okay.
fame, and
Yeah.
he just wrote one sentence. I think J-Lo should get back with Diddy. Send, and I giggled at that. By the way, Joe, why not? You know.
Well, that's what I was wondering. She clearly likes to revisit the past. Who from her past might she go back to? Now, I believe TMZ also reported, I didn't look into this, but A-Rod did some sort
Yes.
of cryptic
Yep.
post or something. Do you know what it says?
Yeah, it was just a quote, something along the line. I think it was a quote, but it was It was basically "Love is a turtle." Regrets. And you could take it a million different ways, but it was posted right when she filed, so it was clearly directed towards her. So
Yeah. Of celebrities that are single, who could you see J-Lo pairing up with next? Because I don't think she's done.
no, she has got a lot of empty platitudes, really every day, in both songs, documentaries, and interviews, and a lot of them have to do with like, you never know what's around the corner. Brilliant. And you can't define love, all that stuff. All leads me to believe that she's very open for marriage number 5. How many
Yeah.
did Elizabeth Taylor have? Like 7? She's getting up there.
Yeah.
Who's gonna take? I mean, it's gonna have to be she's gonna have to go back to dating dancers again, because I don't see any A-list male star, connecting with this train at this point. Because
But
you know how it ends.
in that case, she would have to date younger. And I've sort of respected her for this. I think she has just kind of dated sort of respectfully her age
Men hate
men.
women. You should want her to date really young. Taking back the power, the knife, the night. That's it. Yes.
I guess so, which Madonna is doing. I think she was dating one of her dancers, and
She's
that's,
got a while. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure, we'll report on it.
Beautifully.
Because it all happens kind of quickly, doesn't it? So soon enough.
And again, I don't think there's any cheating going on with her and Ben. Another
Yeah.
thing that I heard on the old extra today was that he had refused to do the work to improve the marriage or whatever that means. Again, very vague. But it wasn't like there was anyone roaming, seeing anybody on the side. It doesn't sound like it was fireworks. It just sounds like Baby wasn't getting her bottle attention-wise, or he wasn't like as super psyched about, doing an album dedicated to their love, and then the follow-up documentary, and then of course the Instagram post. Like, I think that was basically it.
Yeah, maybe too, she was hoping for a little more support in that area or a little more passion or something. And, I could see Ben always looks kind of boring in all the pictures we see of him. So,
It's a meme.
yeah.
Yeah, sad Ben. That's very much out there. Yeah, maybe she should date me.
Shoot your
Why are
shot.
you laughing?
No, I'm in full support. Let's
Thanks.
make this like a real objective. Like, let's go for it. It's a goal.
I have so much to bring to the table, like Some stuff over there.
Yeah, you could fill up a table with all of that.
Well, at least two. I'm not even bragging. And then I've got some magnets that you can see there that she might like. And that's a pretty cool graphic of Manhattan that she can have. I mean, not to keep, we'll share
But
it.
Bill, if only you had a two-seater bike.
So much cuter if she's on my handlebars.
Honestly, you're right.
You've seen that in more videos than the two-seater.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's this little sheepskin right here. You know, keeps my back warm. I'm a lazy boy. And she can sit on my lazy boy if she wants.
Wow. Okay.
And here's a bonus. Yes, there is a hole right here that is the size of basically essentially making it look like a lazy boy toilet. But if you'll notice, I have smartly filled it with a wool blanket. So it's almost like it's new. And she can have all of this.
Wow, you are not only generous, but you're like a MacGyver. You fix things.
Are you setting us up for the next article?
Hey, why not? That's a good segue.
I'm better at them because I've noticed them first.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give it to you this week.
Thank you.
I found a fun survey, and by
I'm
fun I
listening,
mean
I'm just grabbing coffee.
it's mildly depressing.
Can I just interrupt for a second? J-Lo,
Yes.
I have a coffee machine.
Wow. My goodness. She's just going to bang down your door. Okay, survey. 1 in 5 adults can't change a light bulb or boil an egg. A British insurance company, my favorite kind, its name is Aviva, recently released their annual home report, which detailed, among numerous findings, about how people do work around the house, relatively common tasks that people encounter. They surveyed 2004 people. Huh. Is there a conversion from the UK to the US? 2004 is actually 2000 here, perhaps. They surveyed them in February and March about their habits and roles at home. Interestingly, while 50% of those surveyed said they learned how to do a home task on their own by trial and error, plenty of people are turning to the internet for help, especially millennials. The study found 4 in 10 people aged 25 and under prefer learning do-it-yourself chores online, which is more than twice the number in the age group who turn to an actual book for help.
Oh, hell no. No one's doing that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know that that's a generational thing, more as the internet is right there.
Yeah.
That's convenience. Okay, so here are some of the tasks, right? Boiling an egg. 81% of people feel confident doing that task. I can boil an egg.
Next. We don't need
Oh,
to dwell on
boy.
this one.
Changing a light bulb. 79% feel confident doing this task. That I don't get that. You unscrew, you screw back in. What's
The fact that it's 79 means that we really are, this is the decline of Western civilization. That's horrible.
In the UK, are light bulbs different? I don't know, but
Let me ask
not
you this.
as
How many of
effective.
the 2004 people were developmentally disabled?
They did not say that.
How many were born without arms?
2.
That's going to load it a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. Cook a complete meal without using a recipe. 69% are confident doing that.
Does
Cook a
ordering
complete-
delivery count as cooking and
Yeah.
complete?
Microwavable meals.
They don't specify that I'm
They
in there. I
don't.
can do that. Yeah.
66% feel confident reading a map. Okay, some maps are hard, so I get that.
Here's the thing. I'm not even going to compliment myself on that. It's because I'm old. And I very much remember a time before MapQuest, GPS, all that shit. Just, you had to, you know? And also, I don't think it's that. I don't really see I'm almost putting that in a light bulb category there.
Sure.
I mean, maps are pretty self-explanatory.
Okay,
I don't
honestly,
like doing it.
if they changed it to folding a map back up, I cannot do that.
Yeah,
That is so hard. Changing a baby's nappy. That's how you know this is a UK survey.
Nappy.
Changing a baby's diaper. I now have a new nephew. I still have never changed his diaper. I have assisted in helping him not roll off of the changing table in a public bathroom, but I haven't actually changed it.
I so wish, and I realize that there's a lot of legalities involved here, But I so wish there was video of that because I'm just picturing you in this closed confines with Mary, and you're just talk about the bare minimum. You're like
Yeah.
pushing the baby like that with your finger
Yeah.
to make sure it doesn't fall off, and you're not looking, and you're smelling, you're kind of going dry heaving. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's me going, don't move. Don't move. What, you're not listening. Don't move. So yeah,
You're fried to the corner as far away as possible while you're doing it.
just 1 foot like up on the changing table. 57% of those surveyed feel confident changing a diaper. I would think it would be more.
I can change a diaper. I do not know how confident I would be as it's been a long time. But I
Okay.
think I can. I don't think they've changed that much.
Do you know how to check the oil levels in a car?
No. In my defense, I have never owned a car.
Really?
I know that makes all these women the opposite of turned on that I even said that. I did change a tire once.
Okay, yeah,
But
changing a tire, 37% are confident doing that. I'm not.
I'm not confident, but I have done it.
Fixed
Although I'm
tiles.
sorry to interrupt, Joe, but I will never think of changing tires again
I
without
know.
thinking about your story.
I know. That
Anytime it's wrong.
ex-boyfriend is very happy I did not know how to change a tire. And he felt very confident after changing that tire.
Oh yeah.
Fitting tiles, 22% are confident. Why would you do that yourself? Unless you're trying to save money, right? Like,
Also, shouldn't most tiles fit? Are we not spending enough on the whole big tile industry?
no, I think they mean like, putting them together, like on a backsplash.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to figure out a pattern. Do you want herringbone? Do you want Subway?
Subway?
Subway tile. I guess that's just the name of the tile. I'm not confident
You know more than I do.
in my naming of tiles. All right. So, Bill, is there a task that you feel you are especially good at? Like you have maybe a friend who's moved into a new apartment. They need help with something. What are you good at?
I don't want to get up again. I think I've already used my get up card once with the coffee. I'm very good at taking the top of champagne bottles, refigure them out into cute little chairs, and then using the cork as a table.
Wow.
Mm.
That I'm surprised that was not on the list of tasks.
How is
And
it
you
not?
said it. Yeah, I don't know. Especially in the UK, I feel like they'd get a kick out of that.
Well, they might
Uh,
call champagne something different. Bobbledy bib. It might be like nappies.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. You've moved quite a few people before. Are you like good at moving? Are you confident at carrying heavy objects?
Yeah, depends on how heavy. But I used to be a mover for. Actually, I guess I should be confident because I used to do it for antique shows. You can imagine the insurance issues there if you aren't at least a little bit good at it. Not that there's a whole lot to it, but obviously there's a way to lift certain things. There's certain ways that you have to hold very precious vases,
Sure.
as well as various expensive yet unbelievably heavy and awkward things. There's a way to navigate the stairs,
Oh,
made
yeah.
famous on a particular Friends episode.
Yep.
Pivot. So there's that. There's a way to kiss ass afterwards so as to get the biggest tip. I don't know if that counts as part of the task.
That's
Um,
more of a life skill than a task.
well, Joe, you can cook some things, I believe. I know Douglas does most of it.
Yeah.
But you can do some things. I know you cooked for yourself. You have to be able to do something besides read a monologue.
You know what I actually can do is I can install a new shower head. I've had to do that a few times. Which again, similar to
I'm horny.
oh God, no, similar to a light bulb. It's not difficult. It's
It looks difficult to me. I've never done
you
that.
unscrew it and then you need to get that weird tapey gauzy stuff and put it around the circular. See, I don't know the names of these things either.
It's
This
better than me. I've never done it.
head, the circular head, I guess, and then you just sort of screw it on. It's not that hard. The fact that I'm even bragging about it is sad.
If you have time after this show, I'll show you how to make a champagne chair. How about that?
Okay. Do you happen to have the appropriate materials?
If you have time after next show and
Okay.
are willing to buy the champagne, I'll teach you how to make a champagne chair.
Amazing. Speaking of nobody being in New York, we weren't.
I so win the segs for today.
We
Mine
weren't.
made sense. They applied to something that we were talking about in the past, and the immediate past. I mean, you could say that we have talked about nobody being in New York at some point in 2024, but that wasn't a segue. And I, to this day, don't think you know what they mean.
Wait,
Um,
speaking of drugs and art,
Okay, sure.
that's a
Hey,
better one.
but when were we talking about drugs and art?
Booze and your little table and chair, that's art.
That's the closest you've ever called me to being an artist. Let me find it here. For whatever reason, you and I both actually talk about John Mulaney a lot. Certainly when he did the genesis of this segment, Nobody's in New York, when he did Everyone's in LA. See, people, see what we did there? We flipped it and we reversed it. But here is really in the spotlight something that we've kind of touched on in the past, namely the former Mrs. Mulaney. I believe John and Ava Munn are officially married now, are they not? Or
Oh,
engaged?
I don't know.
That's me with my research. Anne Marie Tendler. See, people, I blame America for the fact that we barely know her name.
I know.
Has just written a book. It's a memoir, and it's titled, I'll be interested in your thoughts, Joe, as an author, Men Have Called Her Crazy. Just came out, Simon and Schuster. What do we think of the title?
I would have to read the book.
Well, you're interested, so there's that.
Yeah.
They're giving her age, even though this isn't the post. Miss Tendler, 39, an artist whose work includes, oh boy, Victorian lampshades and morose photography. I'm starting to see why there might have been some chinks in the armor. Maybe most widely known for her marriage to the comedian John Mulaney and its very public collapse in 2021. The relationship is conspicuously absent from the book. You still gonna read it?
Nope. Nope.
I can't even believe talk about how did this get made? She refers to her marriage and divorce only a handful of times, and Mr. Mulaney is never even identified by name. Because people are buying this for the morose photography and Victorian lampshades.
I mean, at least a dozen.
The book offers a portrait of a mental health crisis that is laced with dark humor and tells the story of a woman no longer able to contain her fury towards the opposite sex. That part I get. Miss Tendler is always is aware the readers who come in looking for a tell-all about Mr. Mulaney may initially be disappointed. Now get over it. But she hopes that they will connect to the version of her that they find on the page instead. The couple issued statements that they would divorce 4 months later. Mr. Mulaney announced 4 months following his visit to rehab that he was having a baby with Miss Olivia Munn. When the book thing came out, this is a little bit like your pageant queen news intro. Responses like, "Ruin him, queen," came out in support of Miss Tendler on Instagram. She went into the hospital for mental health issues. Let's see. And of the several men she mentions in the book, I always wonder how this works, because I might have been in this situation and no one came to me. She offered to send 3 of them their chapters. None took her up on it, but then she declined to say whether she had shared any of the book with Mr. Mulaney and declined to comment any further on their relationship. Boy, she knows how to sell a book. Despite their mix of excitement and nerves, Miss Tendler feels about the book's release. She does not seem to have any regrets about its direction. To focus the memoir on her divorce from Mr. Mulaney would have been a crutch that I didn't need. True, also would have been some money. Joe, your thoughts?
Man, I am in awe of this woman. The bitterness that would fill my heart and my books would be ginormous. Also, man, I would love to see the email back and forths with her publishers who thought they were getting a real tell-all memoir, or who were encouraging her to just a little bit. Remember, it's a memoir. It's about your life. Expressing your feelings is important. For her to really not is, God, it must be frustrating. And I'm sure someone like John Mulaney even wanted a little bit more, wanted to
Oh
feel
yeah.
so significant to make someone put him in a book, but she didn't. That's almost like the biggest dig she could even make to him.
That's your whole quote on empathy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, awesome digs are not going to fill your wallet. Here's my theory. This is not Simon & Schuster's first round of publishing memoirs. I think they've been
Mhm.
doing it for about 100 years. And I bet what happened was they had initial meetings with her and they're like, well, Mulaney's huge right now. We're sitting on a gold mine. And it probably had been their experience in the past where they had spoken with someone who was sort of adjacent to an A-lister, and they were
Mhm.
about to do a memoir, and they had said the same crap she said. They had told the publisher, editor specifically, I don't want this book to be the focus on that divorce,
Yeah.
or that murder, or whatever. And then in the process of writing, sort of an exorcism happens, and they end up just going to town. And they thought that this would be the gamble. They'll say, okay, for fear that she would sign on with someone else and do just that. And then, ooh, let's just wait for her to just start typing, and the Mulaney bash sheet will continue. And in this case, the bet didn't pan out. That is my only
Yeah.
thoughts on how this could possibly happen, because this book is going to sell 3 copies.
You know, Bill, I hate to agree with you.
Oh, wow.
That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, fair point. That's better than your seg. Uh,
But you were saying a little bit before the show your overall take on John Mulaney.
he dodged the biggest bullet of the last 2 years. The fact that this guy has got so much goodwill for how shittily he reacted to all of this, from his so-called, even though like technically when you're in rehab and doing the 12 steps, yeah, you apologize to the people that you hurt. I don't know if he ever did to her. But he did this apology tour where he just went to talk show after talk show, did stand up after stand up, talking about how low he was and getting all the post rehab attention. They always say that you shouldn't date for at least 2 years after rehab because you're raw, you're a dry drunk. 4 months later, he's married and knocked up Olivia Munn, a very famous, very hot actress. His poor wife, who had gone through all the crap with him, right when he gets out of rehab, dumps her like a hot, sober potato. And she just sat there and quietly took it. And because he went on this woe is me media run, people just kind of sort of gave him the mulligan that was, well, it seems to me like what he did was unbelievably, almost sociopathically shitty because, well, this sounds like a tough addiction. And gosh, he was even high on coke when he visited Saturday Night Live, and that's an interesting anecdote. And he did all these bells and whistles while he's knocking up Olivia Munn, and this girl is just destroyed for no reason than being supportive. He dodged a huge bullet, and he's continuing to dodge it because this one's going to be about lampshades.
Yeah. God, now I need to see what those lampshades look like.
Well, we know what section of Etsy you'll be on following the show.
Yeah, I think as consumers all have this addiction, if you will, that John Mulaney has been feeding, which is the sharing of his experiences.
Oh yeah.
Telling us how bad it was, how low he got, how deceitful he became. And it's truly like, and you'll read about it in Let the Market Decide if you ever get a copy, Bill. It's transactional, right? It's like, okay, you give me these breadcrumbs of all your evil doings, and I give you a little forgiveness and a little bit more of a pass.
Yeah.
And so I think that's sort of what's happened culturally and why he's been able to stay afloat this whole time.
And you know what the interesting thing is? It would be very difficult for her to counteract his narrative because she in and of herself is not famous. She never had the pulpit up, which he has. Well, Simon and Schuster gave her one, and she never even mentions his name. I almost wonder, there might be a different side to this coin. Could it have been, we were talking about prenups earlier, and perhaps who knows what goes on in divorces that's under the table that doesn't have anything to do with a prenup or a non-prenup. Who knows what other transaction might have gone on between her and the ex before this book came to fruition. Maybe it was going to go one direction, and then a couple phone calls, maybe a couple transfers to her Bank of America, and it went a completely lampshady different way.
Yeah, or, not even potential transfers to a bank, but like breaking non-disclosures or, financial penalties if someone speaks. Yeah, who knows? But I didn't know she was writing a book, so I guess this is positive press for her just because now I'm aware of it.
It wasn't a
But
time.
yeah, I don't even know if now I'd really be interested in reading.
I'd be surprised if you were. And again, I know how you feel about lampshades, but and morose photography.
Yeah, how confident do I feel about both of those things? 2%.
Well, the other thing that I thought was interesting was the whole sending chapters to her exes that she does mention. Well, that to me says that she mentions them by name. Maybe that's why I've never gotten a letter. Because while it's in some people's perhaps existent, or like your book, non-existent memoirs, while those that know me, it's very clear that it's me, no name was mentioned, so they could pretty much phrase it any way they want and have things that never even happened in as much capacity as they'd like to. And I suppose maybe I could. I don't know. Sue, I don't know if I can because my name's not on there, but I guess she named their names. I wish I should have probably educated myself on the legalities of this.
Yeah, but that would also involve like getting a lawyer, and that's expensive.
Yeah, I can't do that. And I've already annoyed Remy enough. But that interested me. But again, she doesn't even mention his name. Although the fact that she declined as to whether or not she sent Mulaney some stuff, I'm sure she did. I mean, she answered by declining to answer that. And then to your point, I'm sure Mulaney never even called her back because he was so pissy that she just ignored him completely in the book.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
Ooh, such an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. We were talking about this. We were talking about everyone's in LA. I just look, and I know this is not a bold statement, but I just look at him so differently now. Like, I really like Mulaney because I always thought he was hilarious, but also, as I've told you a million times, we had drastically similar upbringings. Like, just from the Catholicism to the way he carried himself, just his like whole idea was all I ever wanted to do was to just sit in a cafeteria by myself as a kid and read a magazine. I just thought that was the most adult thing ever. I'm like, oh my God, JJ Bittenbinder, all that stuff. And then after all this crap went down, I'm like, he's a sociopath. And like, even watching the Everyone's in LA thing, I guess I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have had this not happened. I look at him very differently now.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll give him this. It must be hard to do the thing you were doing sober.
Yeah.
If you haven't before, God, it's almost like people who have good luck charms or things. It's like I've always been successful when I've been under the influence. So now that I'm not, is this going to suck? Do I have to try harder? You're probably overanalyzing everything and you're so in your head because it's truly a new experience. And to know you've only ever been successful the one way, you're like, can I make it sober? So that must be a really hard thing to navigate. And for him to do it so quickly afterwards and so openly, I would hope it gives other performers or people like a bit of a guidepost or hope, but yeah, I'm not sure. There's going to be people like you who are watching who sort of, have those feelings.
And yeah, after you said all that, I'm like, whew, we have even more similar backgrounds than I thought. Minus the success part, of course. Yeah, I don't know. He's got I'm still waiting for my phone call on the apology tour because, again, I just feel very differently about him. I'm sure he'll get to me.
Oh, yeah, there's a list.
Yeah.
You know, you're not at the top. You're down there.
Not that far down, but yes.
Bill, what are you doing this weekend? Any fun plans?
None to speak of, which I'm fine with because usually plans require money. No, that's so not true. There's so many wonderful things you can do in New York that don't require $1, like blah and blah and blah.
Who is
and blah.
that?
That's you.
That's not me. You need at least $200. Have fun.
All right, good, better. How about you, Joe? What do you got?
Let's do a More You Joe. I just went to a Yankees game yesterday. That was fun.
I haven't done that once this year.
It was against the Cleveland Guardians, who are apparently doing well, but we smoked them. It was great. But you know who else is great? Our 2 new members of our channel. That's right, members of the More You Joe crew. So they get a shout out. Thank you so much, Barry Lerner and 1954 Studios. Some
Good
people
work.
might say only 2
We just
subscribers
started.
is not a lot. However, when we are filming this, I had only just announced that it was an option.
I was not even aware until right before we filmed it.
Yes. So thank you so much. And also shout out to 5 Fan Photoshops, who did a really nice job of creating our badges and our emojis
I love it.
for our members. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Go ahead and become a member. Tell us what you want to see, and we'll see you next week. Bye.